The stadium lights illuminated the field with a golden glow as the national anthem played softly in the background. Among the crowd was a young boy named Robert George Uecker, sitting with his father in the cheap seats of Borkert Field in Milwaukee. Baseball wasn't just a pastime for young Bob. It was an escape, a dream, a world of possibilities. The crisp crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and the smell of popcorn and peanuts etched themselves into his memory. Born on January 26, 1934, Uecker grew up in a modest German-American household in Milwaukee. His parents, August and Mary Uecker, were hard-working individuals who instilled in Bob the values of humor, resilience, and humility. While his father worked long hours as a tool and die maker, young Bob spent his days throwing a baseball against the side of their house, pretending he was pitching in the World Series. Someday, he'd tell his parents, "I'm going to play in the big leagues." His mother would smile, but his father, a stern yet loving man, would remind him, "Dreams are good, Bob, but don't forget to work hard." Bob took those words to heart. In high school, he wasn't the star athlete, but he was determined. His persistence caught the eye of local scouts, and in 1956, the Milwaukee Braves signed him as a catcher. It was a dream come true, though he realized that life in the minor leagues was far from glamorous. He traveled on rickety buses, played in rundown stadiums, and survived on meager pay. Yet through it all, Bob maintained his sense of humor. "People ask me how I managed to play baseball for so long," he'd later joke. "I just never had the heart to tell them I wasn't very good." In 1962, Uecker made his major league debut. Over the next 6 seasons, he played for the Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, and Philadelphia Phillies. While his career batting average was a humble .200, he earned a reputation as a reliable defensive catcher and a beloved teammate. His sense of humor kept everyone's spirits high, even during tough losses. One of his most memorable moments came in 1964 when he caught for Bob Gibson, the legendary Cardinals pitcher. Gibson once said, "Eck wasn't the best hitter, but he was the best at making us laugh." After retiring as a player in 1967, Uecker transitioned into broadcasting. In 1971, he began his iconic career as the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers. His broadcasts were unlike any other. While most announcers focused solely on the game, Uecker brought stories, jokes, and a level of relatability that endeared him to fans. "Welcome to another beautiful day for baseball," he'd begin, even if it was raining. "The sun is shining somewhere, folks." Uecker's humor extended beyond the booth. He became a regular guest on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, where his self-deprecating wit earned him the nickname Mr. Baseball. "Johnny, I hit so many doubles in my career, they started calling me Mr. Ground Rule Double," he once quipped, earning roars of laughter from the audience. Television and film soon followed. Uecker starred in the sitcom Mr. Belvedere and became a fan favorite as the bumbling yet lovable broadcaster Harry Doyle in the Major League film series. "Just a bit outside," his character would say after a wildly missed pitch, a line that became one of the most quoted in sports movie history. Despite his fame, Uecker remained grounded. He never forgot his Milwaukee roots or the lessons his parents had taught him. He became a mentor to young players, often reminding them to enjoy the game and not take themselves too seriously. As the years passed, Uecker received numerous accolades. In 2003, he was awarded the Ford C. Frick Award by the National Baseball Hall of Fame, solidifying his place among baseball's legends. Yet, even as he stood on stage in Cooperstown, he couldn't resist cracking a joke. "I've had a Hall of Fame career," he said, "just not as a player." By the time Bob Uecker entered his late 80s, his presence in Milwaukee was more than just a staple. It was a tradition. Generations of Brewers fans had grown up listening to his voice, laughing at his stories, and cherishing his unwavering love for the game. But behind the humor and the larger-than-life persona, Uecker was grappling with the inevitable challenges of aging. In early 2025, whispers began to circulate about his health. Close friends and family noticed he wasn't quite as spry as he used to be, yet Bob, ever the entertainer, brushed off concerns with his characteristic wit. "People say I'm slowing down," he joked during a spring training game. "I told them, I've been slowing down for 60 years. Privately, Bob had been diagnosed with small cell lung cancer, a battle he chose to keep out of the spotlight. His family and closest friends respected his wishes, knowing that Bob wanted to be remembered as the man who brought joy to millions, not as someone fighting a devastating illness. Despite his condition, Uecker continued to call games for the Brewers. His voice, though slightly weaker, still carried the same warmth and humor that fans had come to love. On April 5th, 2025, during what would unknowingly be his final broadcast, Bob signed off with a heartfelt message. "Thanks for letting me be a part of your lives, Milwaukee. I'll see you at the ballpark tomorrow." The next morning, Bob Uecker passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 90. The news sent shockwaves through the sports world and beyond. Fans, players, and broadcasters all mourned the loss of a man who had transcended the game. The Milwaukee Brewers honored Uecker with an emotional tribute before their next home game. The stadium fell silent as highlights of his career played on the Jumbotron, accompanied by his most memorable quotes. When the video ended, the crowd erupted into a standing ovation, chanting, "Weck! Weck! Weck!" Commissioner Rob Manfred released a statement calling Uecker the heart and soul of baseball broadcasting. Tributes poured in from all corners of the sports world. Even Johnny Carson's old team released a rare statement. Bob Uecker was more than a guest. He was family. At American Family Field, fans gathered around Uecker's two statues, leaving flowers, baseballs, and handwritten notes. One note, written by a young child, simply read, "Thank you for making baseball fun." The Brewers organization announced they would rename the press box in his honor, ensuring that future generations would always remember the man who made baseball more than a game. Bob Uecker's funeral was a private affair, attended by family, close friends, and a few of the athletes and comedians he had influenced over the years. True to his wishes, the service was more of a celebration than a somber event. Stories were shared, jokes were told, and laughter filled the room, just as Bob would have wanted. After the service, his daughter Leanne stepped up to speak. Holding back tears, she said, "My dad always said, if you're laughing, you're living. He gave all of us so much to laugh about, and in doing so, he gave us life. I'll miss him every day, but I know he's up there, cracking jokes and calling games in heaven." In the weeks following his passing, the Brewers wore a commemorative patch on their jerseys, a simple caricature of Uecker with his signature phrase, "Catch you later." Bob Uecker's legacy endured not just because of his talent, but because of his spirit. He reminded the world that life, like baseball, is a game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the most important thing is to enjoy every inning. In the months that followed Bob Uecker's passing, his influence became even more apparent. Fans, young and old, shared their favorite Uecker moments on social media. Clips of his witty commentary and iconic scenes from the Major League films circulated widely, bringing smiles to millions. His jokes, once delivered casually during broadcasts, became legendary lines etched in the collective memory of baseball fans. One fan tweeted, "Bob Uecker didn't just call games. He told stories, shared laughs, and made us feel like we were sitting next to him in the stands." Major League Baseball held a league-wide moment of silence on what would have been his 91st birthday, January 26, 2025. Across all ballparks, stadium lights dimmed and a tribute video played, showing clips of Uecker as a player, broadcaster, and entertainer. The video ended with his famous line from Major League, "Just a bit outside," followed by a booming cheer from fans watching live and on television. The Brewers also announced an annual Bob Uecker Day to honor his contributions. On this day, ticket prices for the Uecker seats in the upper deck would be reduced to the original price of $1, with proceeds going to charities supporting youth baseball programs, a cause close to Uecker's heart. Beyond baseball, Uecker's impact was felt in the entertainment industry. Hollywood producers began developing a documentary about his life, titled Mr. Baseball, The Bob Uecker Story. Narrated by some of his closest friends and featuring never-before-seen footage, the documentary aimed to capture the essence of the man who brought joy and laughter to so many. In the spring of 2025, the Brewers unveiled a new statue of Uecker at American Family Field. Unlike the previous ones, which highlighted his humor, this statue depicted him in his prime as a broadcaster, microphone in hand, looking out over the field with a smile. Beneath the statue was an inscription that read, "For the love of the game, the laughter, and the memories. Bob Uecker, forever Mr. Baseball. Players from across the league shared how Uecker had influenced them. Brewers star Christian Yelich recalled how Uecker would give him advice during his early years with the team. He'd always say, "Kid, don't forget to have fun. You can't play this game forever, but you can love it forever." That's something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Even younger players who had never met Uecker felt his presence. Many cited his stories and broadcasts as the reason they fell in love with baseball. Meanwhile, fans continued to honor Uecker in their own unique ways. One Brewers supporter, inspired by Uecker's humor, created a podcast called Just a Bit Outside, where he shared funny anecdotes about baseball. Another fan started a scholarship fund in Uecker's name, helping underprivileged kids join local baseball leagues. In the years that followed, Uecker's legacy only grew. His catchphrases became part of the sport's vernacular. His life a reminder that baseball is more than a game. It's about community, joy, and the moments that bring us together. As time marched on, Bob Uecker's legacy evolved into something even larger than the man himself. He became a symbol of what baseball represented, a blend of hard work, humor, and humanity. His influence stretched far beyond Milwaukee, touching the lives of fans and players across the globe. The Bob Uecker Day event became an annual celebration of his life and contributions to the game. Each year, Brewers fans packed American Family Field to honor his memory. The day was filled with activities that reflected Uecker's personality: comedy shows, youth baseball clinics, and storytelling sessions where fans could share their favorite Uecker moments. The centerpiece of the event was always the ceremonial first pitch, thrown by a fan who embodied Uecker's values. In 2026, a 12-year-old girl who had survived leukemia took the mound. As she stood on the pitcher's mound, her voice trembling with emotion, she said, "I never met Bob Uecker, but his jokes made me laugh on days I didn't think I could." The Brewers also established the Bob Uecker Award for Excellence in Broadcasting, an annual accolade given to sports announcers who demonstrated exceptional storytelling and humor. The first recipient was Vin Scully posthumously, and subsequent winners included rising stars who cited Uecker as their inspiration. In 2027, the documentary Mr. Baseball, the Bob Uecker stories premiered to critical acclaim. Narrated by actor and baseball fan Kevin Costner, the film chronicled Uecker's journey from a scrappy kid in Milwaukee to an enduring legend. It featured interviews with celebrities like Billy Crystal, George Clooney, and even former presidents who admired Uecker's ability to bring people together. The documentary also revealed a lesser-known side of Uecker, his quiet philanthropy. It was discovered that Uecker had anonymously funded dozens of scholarships, donated to children's hospitals, and helped struggling former players without seeking recognition. By 2030, Bob Uecker's influence extended into pop culture. His catchphrases were immortalized in songs, memes, and even a Broadway play titled Just a Bit Outside, which hilariously depicted Uecker's life in the minor leagues and his rise to fame. The Brewers continued to honor Uecker in new and creative ways. In 2035, they introduced the Uecker Experience, an immersive exhibit at American Family Field. Visitors could sit in a replica broadcast booth, hear Uecker's commentary, and even try their hand at calling a game using his famous quips. The exhibit became a must-see attraction, drawing fans from around the world. Uecker's family, meanwhile, ensured that his legacy remained rooted in Milwaukee. His grandchildren, inspired by his love for the game, became active in youth sports programs, continuing his mission to make baseball accessible to all. Despite the passage of time, Uecker's voice remained a part of Brewers broadcasts. Using advanced AI technology, the team recreated his iconic commentary, allowing new generations of fans to experience his humor and charm. The AI feature became a cherished part of the game day experience, with fans eagerly awaiting the moments when Ueck would deliver a classic one-liner. Bob Uecker's story didn't just end with his passing. It became a timeless reminder of the power of laughter, the beauty of baseball, and the importance of staying true to oneself. He may have joked about being an average player, but in the hearts of fans, he was nothing short of extraordinary. Would you like me to continue further or conclude here? Bob Uecker's life and legacy became the ultimate testament to how humor, humility, and love for the game can resonate across generations. From the cheap seats of Borchert Field to the Hall of Fame and beyond, his journey was proof that greatness isn't measured by statistics alone. It's about the lives you touch, the laughter you share, and the memories you create. In the hearts of millions, Bob Uecker will forever remain Mr. Baseball, a legend whose voice and spirit will echo through the ballparks of the world for generations to come.